Why would women and minority communities vote for him when he's clearly a danger to anyone who isn't a straight, cisgender, rich white man?
I love you, Mary.
This is how internalized misogyny makes your decisions for you. Why so many women voted for Trump. So once again, instead of just trying to understand through their accounts why people voted for Trump, we have to make it up for them because that's easier. Most men would not be afraid of getting their ass kicked by American progressives. Very true, yes. But yeah, so this is someone called Megan Sandor. Don't know who this is. I have not seen this person before. They look very Magdalene Burns inspired, but this doesn't seem very feminist to me. But let's have a look. I don't know. Okay, that's not a great start.
I can't believe I have to make this video.
I can because I'm watching it. This is a dystopian nightmare.
On November 6, 2024, I woke up to a changed world. It was one of my work from home days, so my alarm was set for my sleep-in time of 7:30.
Okay, this is boring already. Hi, Blosey. Hope you're doing well.
On days when I go into the office, I have to get up at 5, so I was looking forward to a relatively calm and lazy morning without the rush of having to get out the door and catch my train on time. The US elections had been happening the night before, but I hadn't stayed up to watch them. I'd gone to bed feeling hopeful and confident that Kamala would win, and I figured the results wouldn't be in for a few days anyway, so there was no need to lose sleep over it.
What's with the drinking and eating videos? I'm not sure. To be fair, I have to drink water, because otherwise my throat would go even worse than how it does. Eating in videos, I mean, I have something called misophonia, so like eating noises and stuff. Like, my headphones are coming straight off if someone starts eating, and we're just moving on. That's just how it is. I don't understand. If you have to talk, why would you want the shit in your mouth? Most privileged is the way to start. But it feels very, like, spoiled white woman. But, hey, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt.
6:30 a.m., I woke up to go to the bathroom. The sun was just starting to rise, and a dull gray light was streaming in from between the blinds on my window. I glanced at my phone, saw...
This is like, I used to work in, like, property maintenance. And, like, this is how some people would, like, call up saying, like, my boiler's broken. I'd be like, oh, okay, what state did you, like, find it in? Or something like that. And it's like, well, I woke up at 6 a.m. and got out of bed and pulled the cover off me slightly so I could get out of bed without the cover coming up with me. It's like, oh my God, stop. I voted to support Trump. I'm pretty sure you guys are fine with me. Anyone knows why? Yeah, of course. Listen, I'm not using politics as like a divider. I don't like Trump myself, but that doesn't mean that I think that everyone who voted for him is evil. It doesn't mean that I think that I should say certain things or whatever. I don't know.
Saw the time and felt relieved that I could still go back to sleep for another hour. On the way to the bathroom, I grabbed my phone off the nightstand. I'll just quickly check the results, I thought to myself. It'll be nice to see Kamala in the lead, and then I can wake up feeling happy and excited and ready for my day. Then there it was, Donald Trump, projected winner of US election. I stared at my phone screen, my sleep-fogged brain struggling to comprehend what I was looking at. My first thought was, this isn't real. I must have woken up in a parallel universe.
Whenever I see a nose ring, I turn the other way. I used to have a nose ring and a septum ring, but I lost both of them and I couldn't be asked replacing them. Just in case I have to prove a Nazi, whilst I must accept and believe that Isla Bryson is a woman. No one believes that Isla Bryson is a woman. Not even this person. Actually, maybe they do, I don't know.
And then, I don't think I can go back to sleep. I may never sleep again. I crawled back into bed a few minutes later next to my partner. They're American.
How old is this person?
And they have multiple intersecting queer identities. I wrapped myself tight.
Multiple intersecting queer identities. What the fuck does that mean? Multiple intersecting queer identities. Am I supposed to take any of this seriously? This is just children having a fucking hissy fit because the person they wanted to win didn't win.
Around them as if I was trying desperately to wedge my body between them and all the millions of people just south of the border in their country of birth who had just declared that they don't want my partner
You have more than one partner?
or myself as a queer and happily child-free woman to exist. Like,
no one thinks that. No one thinks you shouldn't have the right to exist. No one cares that you're queer because most people don't even think queer is a thing because it's literally meaningless, so it isn't really a thing anyway. No one cares that you're childless. The only people that seem to think anyone gives a fuck about someone's childless status is childless people. No one thinks any of that. No one cares about your right to exist. No one cares about your existence. I mean, certain people that you know surely do. But no one is saying that you shouldn't exist. They might be saying that they don't agree with your self-perception, that they might not agree with your self-referral as a queer person. That's got nothing to do with your existence. You exist, clearly. You're in front of me. What are my feelings about your existence? I have none, because I don't know you. And whatever happens, I'll watch this video and then carry on with whatever I'm doing. Multi-sectional, intersecting, whatever, queer identities sounds like something that happened to a party I once went to. Fucking hell. Straight couple, but she's non-binary and asexual. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
So many of us, I'm struggling to comprehend what happened. Kamala was sweeping victorious in the polls.
Have you tried asking people why they voted Trump? Sorry, I should stop saying that. It's too obvious. I have multiple intersecting identities, never mind queer identities. One of my alters is very, very black.
I was so sure she was going to win. I know that polls are often wrong, but after his 34 felony counts, apparent age-related mental and physical decline, and his increasingly obvious malignant narcissism, I thought for sure that our neighbors...
That is very rich coming from any queer person. It'd be rich coming from me, and I'm supposed to be the one that's, like, vaguely self-aware.
To the south had finally woken up to the dangers of another 4 years of Donald Trump, this time without any checks and balances on his
What dangers?
power. I was wrong.
Cosplaying as female Hitler with the septum and hair, and yeah, a little bit.
I spent that day wrapped up in a blanket, barely getting any work done, barely able to function. I scrolled through TikTok, watching the reactions of people in my community from all over the world as...
Okay, so you've been fed a lot of scaremongering. This is making more sense. I am understanding.
They grieved for the loss of their safety and the safety of their loved ones.
How do you know in any case whether someone's losing their safety or not? This is why I say, what do these people mean when they say safety? I have no idea. I bet she didn't say that about Biden, yeah.
And shared their fears about what this would mean for the economy, for the climate, for the many conflicts that are raging around the world, and for their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, you know, the thing about obsessing over all those things, though, is that you don't know what's going to happen. So obsessing over it too much, obsessing over some kind of future event like that is pointless. And if all of you are like ruminating together about how terrible this whole thing is, then you're just driving each other insane. Like, what productive shit are you actually doing here? Because it's not like almost any of you are actually leaving the country, so...
lives, as Trump's victory had just emboldened the worst of the racist, homophobic, and misogynistic attitudes to come out of the closet with zero consequences. These are dark and scary times.
Meaningless.
And amidst the fear and the uncertainty, I'm left with some burning questions. How did it all go so terribly wrong? Were American voters even thinking about the implications of their vote?
Well, all of this screams like luxury beliefs, and I think a lot of people are getting sick of it, so that's probably one reason.
Not just for
hi, Petunia.
their neighbors and communities, but for the entire world. America styles itself as the greatest country in the world, but with greatness also comes great obligation, and America has failed to live up to the responsibilities of its loftiness. Was that even weighing on voters at all as they...
What, because Donald Trump won an election? Sure, I guess.
Cast their ballots for Trump, or were they only thinking of themselves? Does COVID-era depression and anxiety still run so deep that many people actively want to see the world burn? And
the lengths these people will go to not talk to anyone and to not understand what it's like on the other side. The lengths they will go to make up fanfic where their political enemies think whatever they decide they think because they're the authors. And you want to tell other people about narcissism. Why not just talk to people? Why not just ask some people? You know, you don't have to reveal yourself everywhere you go as an out queer person with multiple personalities or whatever it was you said. Like, just ask some people. Look for some information. Are you that scared of, like, seeing something you disagree with? You're so desperate to not talk to anyone and make it up as to what's gone on. Like, that's your first problem. Your entire house of cards is built on fucking sand already.
And most of all, why did so many Americans vote so hard against their own interests? Exit poll data showed that...
This is kind of like... This reminds me of, like, who was it? Bernie Sanders. I swear there was some primary he lost. and loads of white people like losing their shit, like shouting at black people and like Mexicans and stuff because they don't know what's good for them because they weren't supporting Bernie. How can you actually think half the country wants to see the world burn? Well, when you're in a cult, it's actually quite easy.
60% of the Hispanic community in Michigan voted for Trump, and most of them were men. Similarly, 51% of white suburban women, a majority of them... Again,
it's always the races matter so much. It's always the races matter. It's like you want to find a demographic to blame and then shit on them. That's really not... That's kind of fucked up, man. I gotta say. And by the way, imagine if white people were like more voting for Kamala and it was like black people that were voting for Trump and that's why he won. What the fuck would these people do? I really wonder.
Voted for Trump as well. Trump is a fascist and a sexual predator. Why would women and minority communities vote for him when he's clearly a danger to anyone who isn't a straight cisgender?
Trump is a fascist. Wait, we've got more id poll coming. Why
would women and minority communities vote for him when he's clearly a danger to anyone who isn't a straight cisgender rich white man?
Okay. Did no trans people survive Donald Trump's presidency? Are absolutely all of them people who have transitioned since his last presidency? Is that what's happened?
Abdullah?
Mid-century German, yeah. It's very, very authoritarian, I feel like that's where we're going to.
Assad? Yes, please.
Look, if Trump wins, things are going to be fine, okay? Not much is going to change for you in this country if Trump wins, all right?
I mean, it's more or less correct, right? But
so as long as you're white, everything's going to be fine.
Oh, okay. He completely ruined it. Was a bit shocked that she'd show like a brown person.
Okay, nothing about your day-to-day is going to change as long as you are straight and white.
This should not be even fucking allowed, quite frankly. I don't know how you're able to do this kind of shit. This is insane.
Okay, straight and white, I mean, your day-to-day, as long as you're straight, Christian, and white.
Oh my God, I'm actually going to fucking puke. When does this stop? I hate this person. I cannot.
Oh yeah, but you should also be...
Please stop talking.
It's a question that I know a lot of you...
The way my smile fit, yeah. I got, I'll be honest.
You have, and the answer to that question falls along the same lines as the answer to the question of why so many women push men to be strong and tough and not show emotion, and why so many women compete with other women for male validation and treat other women badly and blame the women that their husbands and boyfriends cheat on them with instead of the person who actually cheated. The answer is internalized misogyny.
Who are we talking about? Oh, internalized misogyny. Sorry, misogyny?
The women that their husbands and boyfriends cheat on them with instead of the person who actually cheated. The answer is internalized misogyny.
Internalized misogyny of misogyny in men. I don't know. I'll work on that one.
And we're going to talk about it today because it's important and it's a big reason why Trump got reelected. It's not because of uneducated rednecks or racist uncles or men who hate women. They all contributed, don't get me wrong, but they were always going to vote for Trump anyway. And had they been the only ones who did vote for him, he'd be sitting in jail right now instead of...
I'm really tired of being demonized because I'm Caucasian. Yeah, it's almost like more white people are going to vote for the side that doesn't demonize them. For me, I try to not demonize anyone as best I can. Admittedly, it happens with like TRAs and feminists and shit like that, but it's because I disagree with them. Americans don't say misogyny. I think this person might be Canadian because they mentioned their partner being American, but I don't know. That the way this person says misogyny is like low down on the list of questions I have so far. Like pretty fucking low down. But I'll make fun of it, so.
Stocking the White House bathrooms with a lifetime supply of fake tanning lotion. I want to be really careful in this video essay not to point fingers at average working class people. Anger is a perfectly normal and healthy response to grief, and it's very easy right now to unleash that anger onto the people who voted for Trump. And if you have to do that, if you have to stoke that burning fire in your heart of rage and hatred towards white suburban women and members of the Hispanic community in Midwestern states and badly homeschooled Christians in the Bible Belt, then go for it.
Badly homeschooled. Of course it has to be badly homeschooled.
Who am I to tell you how to grieve? And if you are in that place right now, then the
fact that we're even talking about grieving, like, this is so cooked. This person, like, has anyone said no to her their entire life? Like, one person. This is what I mean. these like spoiled white people, these are the ones that are all fucking complaining, it feels like. Maybe it's because I watch like queer people, I guess that's why I'm seeing mostly white people, but like it feels that way. Like, how did American white people become the most fucking spoiled people on the fucking planet? It's embarrassing. Not that I'm fucking American, but I am white. It's not becoming, okay? It's not dignified.
Probably isn't the video for you at this moment. If that's you, then I invite you to click away and come back to this video later when you're ready to take a cold, hard look at some of the underlying societal norms that led to so many people voting in a far-right fascist dictator. This past summer, I found myself in the middle of
Far-right fascist dictator, sure.
a very slow period at work, so I ended up binge watching A Handmaid's Tale. I'd never seen it before. I know, I'm late to the party. And one of the things that struck me most about it was how a lot of the women seemed to be complicit in their own subjugation and abuse.
Whose fault was it, girls?
Her fault. 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 Her fault.
By the way, being a woman that's like staunchly in favor of like transing children and stuff, they're not like handmaidens. Women who want men to get their balls out in the changing room, they're not handmaidens. It's just the ones that vote Trump. The whole internalized misogyny thing, it only goes one way, and that's the way that Megan Sander and people like who agree with her, the way they see it. That's the only way it goes, in the way that these people will acknowledge. European, white, cis, straight woman here. Like, oh my God, you hate yourself. You hate yourself. I hate when people fucking say that about me, but I'm saying it about other people now. You hate yourself.
I actually get a lot of questions from viewers of this channel along the lines of, if patriarchy is so bad, then why do so many women support it?
Oh, there's slaves in the show, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think there's probably a bit more to the story when it comes to The Handmaid's Tale than like they all hate themselves. Like, it looks like there's some genuine oppression going on here, which this person knows nothing about. They can only dream of being that oppressed. I haven't seen The Handmaid's Tale myself, so that was a dogshit take, then leave me alone. I don't fucking care. I don't watch TV all time with my spare time. I do other things.
And the answer is complicated. A lot of the research has been done over the years to explore this question, and basically what it comes down to is a phenomenon called internalized misogyny or internalized sexism. In a nutshell, internalized misogyny is when women subconsciously project sexist ideas onto themselves and other women and men, and it's a function of living in a society that's not built by women or for women. Internalized misogyny occurs when women adopt sexist attitudes and beliefs that devalue or stereotype their own gender, often as a result of growing up in a patriarchal society. The same is true for members of any marginalized
As a result of growing up as a patriarchal society. Wow. Again, I love, we just say this stuff. It doesn't matter what it actually means. We just say this stuff.
community. It's a phenomenon that also occurs in a lot of immigrant communities where some groups harbor hatred and resentment towards other groups because they perceive them to be less educated or qualified or not as assimilated.
Oh, we're white-splaining immigrant issues now. Nice.
To their new society. There's also sometimes a suspicion among immigrant communities of other immigrants about whether or not they came here properly, and the sentiment goes something along the lines of, I worked so hard and sacrificed.
I presume she calls it misandry, yes. I don't know why. Does she go to the supermarket dressed like this? Probably. To BF, she probably just thinks misandry doesn't exist. I'm not sure. I can never tell with these people.
So much to come here through the proper channels, and then these other immigrants just cheat and sneak their way in and are allowed to stay, and it's not fair. My ex-husband's family are immigrants who
Right off call female behaviors is misogyny.
came from Africa and South Asia only about a decade ago, and that sort of fear and suspicion of other immigrant groups was something I used to hear from them a lot. They hated immigrants from other places because they bought into the fear-mongering about migrants pouring in from China and the Caribbean, and it made them feel like all their hard work and sacrifices were for
Yeah, insane. I'm pretty sure it's misogyny. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Like, if she was a true intellectual, that's how she'd be saying it.
nothing, and maybe there wouldn't be a place for them here in Canada. This is internalized xenophobia and racism, and it leads to things like voting in a far-right politician who promises to wipe the country clean of all the bad immigrants, which is appealing if you perceive yourself to be part of the group of good immigrants.
Ex-husband, but she's queer. Fuck knows. People lose their minds for all sorts of reasons.
Even though the truth is that racism is racism, and if a rich white man decides that he doesn't like immigrants, he means you too, and it's only a matter of time before you're next. And it's the same with women and
Next for what? What are you talking about? Queers are not beating the spicy straight stereotype. Nope, never. Especially because we're going to propagate it at every turn. That's what we're doing here.
Patriarchal societies. When your entire life is a zero-sum game of who can get closest to power in order to be safe, other women become competition instead of being allies, comrades, and friends in the same struggle against
Comrades, there we go. There's the dog whistle. There's the dog whistle.
all of our collective dispossession. A couple good examples of internalized misogyny are pick-me girls and not like other girls. If you've ever found yourself thinking something along the lines of, I'm different from
Ah yes, very academic terms. Pick-me girls and not like other girls. Apparently I'm a pick-me, by the way. I invite Megan Trainor to explain my pick-meism back to me.
from other girls because I don't wear makeup or care about fashion, or I'm not like all the other girls because I like video games and I don't care if my hair gets messed up, then that's the voice of your internalized misogyny talking. And yes, we all have internalized misogyny. We all have
I don't.
internalized racism, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, and ageism.
I don't.
It's not our fault that we have it because we live in a
No, you can't. You have to prove that we have it. How are you going to say that we have it? I disagree with that. I don't think I have it. I think there's probably lots of people that don't have any of that shit, personally.
fundamentally sexist, racist, ableist, heterosexual, and youth-obsessed culture. We grow up surrounded by messages about how women should look and think.
Also, those are sex slaves in The Handmaid's Tale. That's crazy. Listen, I have never seen it. I've never seen it.
And behave and experience desire, and what's considered normal and desirable and what isn't. Even the most progressive and inclusive among us have still internalized these messages, and it's not our fault. But it is our responsibility to unlearn them. Here are some
Why? Why are you responsible for unlearning them? Are you not just responsible pretty much for living to the next day?
examples of passing or quite possibly lingering thoughts you may have had at some point in your life. I'd rather have a male boss because women bosses are bitchy and controlling. I'm never going to be a mother because
What's ageism? Hating someone because of their age, I guess. But it's not about hatred, because this person would probably define all kinds of things as ageism that have got nothing to do with hatred or anything how it works with other stuff. Does that mean if I say I'm not like other guys, I have internalized misandry? Yes, it must do. It must do.
I don't want to be reduced to my biology. I wish queer people would stop shoving their
Oh, thank you, Ginger Blaze. Is that because I'm male?
sexuality in our faces. I'm irresponsible and lazy because I have ADHD. Young women these days are lazy because they don't
ADHD. I got ADHD. You know what? Is someone thinking that? Or are they thinking I'm lazy because I grew up in an age where we have all this entertainment, everything else available at the click of a button. And compared to that, doing anything else seems boring and annoying. I don't know. It seems odd that there's this epidemic of ADHD, but hey, I don't know.
don't cook from scratch or clean their houses properly. I'm not like other girls because I like sports and don't wear makeup. She always has a boyfriend. I've never seen her single.
Like, who really cares about this much? And how the fuck? Well, it's a video essay, to be fair. Like, I guess that's how it is. But like, who cares about this? Like, I don't see how this like leads to like Trump. Unless she's going to go through other people's accounts and explain why those are internalized misogyny. These are all like clips of like, I don't trust that she's going to like explain anything. Oh, we got Matt Walsh, amazing. Can't talk about anything without talking about Matt Walsh.
What's wrong with her?
I'm queer and he doesn't like me. I'm trans. Sure you are, honey. Sure you're trans.
I need to get married and have kids before I turn 30 because after that I'll be old and no one will want me. We should hire that younger candidate because they'll be more teachable and not as stuck in their ways. All of these are examples of internalized misogyny.
Oh, hey, thank you very much, Amber Primo.
I love you, Mary.
I'll give 5 more if you say trans women are women.
Trans women are women.
Ableism, ageism, and homophobia. It can be really hard to notice these thoughts when they
Telling you these are grievances with other women. Probably, yeah. Probably reads a few tweets that she doesn't like very much and makes a huge generalization. I have no idea, by the way. I don't know anything about this person. I could just be making that up. See, when I lie about people, I explain that it's a lie. Most people don't do that. They just lie about people.
They come up because we assign moral value to the things that our culture tells us are normal and good, so it can feel like the right thing to do to judge others when they don't live up to these standards due to being marginalized in some way. All of us have had thoughts like this at one.
Oh, thank you, Ginger Blaze. I'm not gonna last much more of this video. Like, I don't know. Like, who cares? Yeah, it's a bit toxic to be like, was that Max the school? Yeah. He said I love you to me, whilst also telling me to hang myself. That's why I'm calling him Max the schoolgirl. Yeah, fair enough. Mad Max.
One time or another because they're a function of growing up in our society.
I don't feel it. Like, some of it's internalized misogyny stuff that she is presenting. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a toxic way to think. But, like, it's our duty to unlearn this stuff. Like, I imagine you can probably have a decent life without caring about any of this shit. You can probably be a good person without caring about any of this shit. And having the odd thought doesn't mean, oh shit, I might end up going voting for Donald Trump in a couple of years. Like, what?
If we value being good, responsible, moral human beings, then we can easily fall
Making it everyone else's problem with it when it's hers. Yep, seems that way.
prey to judging ourselves and others based on what our culture tells us is good, responsible, and moral, rather than relying on our own internal compasses and values to guide us into behaviors and thoughts which are more authentic and aligned to who we actually are. This is a
I can't do this anymore. It feels like some gender studies lecture. I don't feel this at all. Is internalized misogyny a reason why women voted for Trump? Like, maybe in a few cases. This feels very, I don't know, it just feels silly. I'm sorry. I can't. What am I supposed to say about this shit, man? I don't fucking know. I'm sure because I didn't watch the whole thing that there's some amazing fucking line in here that I missed. But everyone's just whining. And she includes Emma Vigeland, who is like brain broken. I called in sick because of the fucking Trump. Wow. I think many women voted with the men or their husbands' partners, sadly. It's exhausting listening to these channels. It is fucking hell. And the thing is, they spit claims out at such an insane speed. I feel like I'm pausing constantly. And then I'm going to get comments being like, oh, why'd you pause so much? And it's like, well, I can't keep up with all the insane things that she comes out with. It's like, I'm going to go to the toilet first.
You, Mary.
Oh, thank you so much.
I guess
Amber.
that counts. But it was weak.
I'm sorry. Trans women are women. Anyway, I need to go to the toilet. I'll be back. Thank you so much, by the way.